Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So here's Bitcoin on the daily, and guys, as you can see, there was a bit of a downturn overnight. Let's just put it here on the hourly for a second. You can see, guys, a significant move down for Bitcoin. I was trading at $7,300 as of about 6 p.m. yesterday, now trading at about $6,900. Bringing the rest of the crypto market down with it. This is XRP, now trading at 0.188 cents. So it wasn't a very long-lived rally, or could we continue to see momentum upward? I guess this is the question that's probably on some of your minds. Again, guys, if we look at BTC on the daily, we've got declining volume. I mentioned this yesterday, albeit a lot more volume, but it is declining volume. That is never a good sign. Also, we need to kind of get back up to this $10,000 mark, see what Bitcoin does after that to confirm any real momentum. And with regards to XRP on that matter, same thing with that. We would need to have breached the level that we were at mid-February in order to confirm a bullish trend. So until we can get up here and pierce 34.5 cents for XRP, it's still kind of a waiting game. We're still technically moving sideways. And that's way more apparent when you look at the charts on longer time frames. And so here's the rule of thumb for those of you guys who do not know. If you are day trading, stock, crypto, whatever it is, it's cool to look at the charts on the hourly, the 5-minute, the 15-minute. That all makes sense. But if you guys are hodlers, which I'm sure most of you are, we get wrapped up in looking at XRP or Bitcoin or whatever on the hourly, the daily even. The daily's pretty good, but realistically, the weekly, the monthly, that's kind of where we should be looking to be able to get a sense of the broader trend of the market. And this is XRP on the monthly. Still no bullish confirmation there either. And Bitcoin, if you go to Bitcoin on the monthly, we saw this significant rally back last year and now coming back down. So we really just need to pierce ultimately 14,000 on the monthly for Bitcoin. And of course, once we get there, it seems like it would be very, very agreeable probably amongst many of you guys that we are definitely in a bull trend at that point. Guys, I saw this from the Daily Hodl, $186 million in Bitcoin on the move as report shows crypto whales are multiplying at a rapid rate. So despite what's going on the charts, which we tend to like to perseverate on every single day because, you know, when is this crypto thing gonna moon? When am I going to make my millions of dollars and retire for the rest of my life? So despite all this, the total number of Bitcoin whales is reportedly growing at a rapid rate despite the recent crypto market plunge. According to a new analysis from crypto data firm Glassnode, the number of Bitcoin whales with 1,000 BTC or more worth $7 million just hit levels not seen since 2017. So what does that mean, guys? People have been accumulating. The whales have been accumulating, and now there is more whale. There are more whales in the space that own 1,000 BTC or more. This is good for crypto overall and going to be good for other coins like XRP because in a spec rally, we know everything goes up. We don't have to worry about the real world utility. And so my plan is to sell off some coins when we see because at this point, I do feel like we're going to see a spec run before we see real world utility. So I've always said to have a plan for your exit strategy, but maybe it's kind of good to have a plan A and a plan B and then have sell-off points within those plans just so that you can have two strategies and then selling targets within those two strategies for different situations, i.e. a spec plan versus a real-world utility XRP mooning takeoff plan. And I say that because I do think we are going to see the spec run first. So the number of whales increased leading up to last month's market crash and accelerated during and after the crash. This trend implies that despite an uncertain market environment, whales remain confident that now is a good time to be accumulating BTC, I agree, suggesting that they believe there is further room for growth. And you guys can see a chart here from Glassnode. Glassnode says Bitcoin's transactional volume is also on the rise, up 23% last week. Meanwhile, the largest hodlers of BTC have been extremely active in the last 24 hours. As shown in the volume here, here's BTC on the hourly. We can see, not even just in the last 24 hours, but since about April 5th, we'll call it, a lot of BTC volume moving on the exchanges. So the crypto ledger tracker Whale Alert spotted 12 transactions totaling 25,684 BTC worth, 186 million on the move. 6 transfers sent crypto from unknown wallets to an exchange where it could potentially be sold on the open market. 5 of the transfers involved crypto moving from an exchange to an unknown wallet. And then here are some of the transfers that were tracked. And you guys, they're all listed here. I'm not going to read them out for you guys, but anyway, interesting to note. And BitMEX CEO also predicts the stimulus binge will push Bitcoin to 20,000 this year, warning massive drop may come first. So whether you like him or hate him, Arthur Hayes says the U.S. government can print enough money to initially weather fallout from the beer flu, however, due in part to sinking demand for foreign goods and heavy hoarding of cash from American banks, he believes the U.S. dollar will not flow to businesses and nations that need it most, triggering a widespread fallout that will destroy the global economy. So the Fed can print as much USD as it likes, he says, but the companies and countries that need it most will not get it. I have no idea on timing, but the strong US dollar will break the back of the global economy and force a reset. This is coming from Arthur Hayes, CEO of BitMEX. He goes on to say, the question is what the new system will look like. Hayes says Bitcoin stands to benefit, especially if the US decides to digitize the dollar. And so what he's saying essentially is, the US dollar has its benefits, it has its advantages, and having a strong US dollar is kind of a double-edged sword, if you will, because you have more buying power, but at the same time, other countries will not buy your exports as much because for their currencies are not worth as much, so they can get less merchandise for that. So the economy is quite complicated, but what he's saying is that this could essentially push, if the economy goes into the gutter, which it looks like it's happening, this could push people into Bitcoin because they'll be hoarding their cash, and instead of investing in an economy that is uncertain, it stands to reason that people will invest in cryptocurrencies. He mentions Bitcoin here, but also a lot of the other cryptocurrencies. Once people do their research, they'll realize, Ethereum, XRP, maybe some of the other cryptocurrencies that will have some real world utility. But even if people just go to CoinMarketCap and just look at the top coins on the list, they'll probably invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, whatever else is out there, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. I haven't taken a glance at CoinMarketCap for a while now, so I don't know what the top 10 are necessarily. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter. That's what people are going to see, and that's what people will tend to invest in this type of scenario. So he goes on about the complexities of printing money and the economy and all of this stuff, guys. I'll link this article in the description. I just wanted to give you guys the gist of that. But here we go. Something interesting from Matty Greenspan. So past performance is not an indicator of future results. He's saying that a little tongue-in-cheek, I think, because this is a graph of the S&P 500, and these lines represent different crashes. So October 1929, October 2008, October 1987, and this current sell-off. So you can see the dotted purple line is October 1929, the Great Depression, okay? And we can see those patterns forming that double bottom and then continuing to go down. October 2008 was similar. That's this maroon colored line. Also forming a downward trend. October 1987, a big crash in the stock market as well. That's the red line. And here's the current sell-off, that black line. Closing price, 26.64 on the 6th of April, day 33. And the black line is representative of where we are today. And so he's saying, not an indication of future results, so could we continue to go up? But you know what? Past behavior is a good indicator of future behavior, so I don't think so. It is going down, says Alan Astuver. I don't know, pumping money into this economy artificially is never sounds like a prudent idea. I don't know how we can get out of this unscathed, since that is the case. And they're releasing the job results, or the unemployment numbers for the last quarter, and it's at record highs, not just in the United States, but all over the world. So the economy's in the gutter. I don't think we're going to rebound to new all-time highs within 2020. So brace yourselves, guys. Crypto, I'm typing in crypto here. BTC, right, looking to be going downward, and XRP, of course, other cryptos will follow that. What's the S&P 500 doing? So so it's really trying to work its way up. But I think it's a false hope to actually believe the government can pump enough money into this economy to get it back up to where it needs to be. Okay, so ACOS XRP1 on Twitter posted this: ODL all-time high getting absolutely smashed on all corridors. And this is just the Philippines corridor. You guys can see that. April 8th, 2020. Look at those numbers. So people are still sending money across borders using XRP for ODL. And we are going to see this, right? We're going to see DLT, RippleNet, and that technology thrive in this kind of situation when people need money fast, especially if family members are in different countries. And money needs to be sent globally, and it needs to be sent now. Look at how fast the governments of the world are trying to get out relief checks to their citizens, right? One of the most critical things in a time of a pandemic is expediency, and XRP delivers that. So we're seeing this in the ODL corridors. Thanks so much, ACOS XRP1, for posting that. We also got Matthew Liny here on Twitter: European Parliament, April 2020, crypto assets, key developments, regulatory concerns, and responses. So this is a document. He links the document here. It's a PDF, 77 pages long. I'll link the tweet in the description for those of you guys who want to read that. They talk about crypto assets, key developments, regulatory concerns, and responses, and a flowchart here. Taxonomy of crypto assets. So we got foreign CBDCs, and then we got private crypto assets, cryptocurrencies, tokens, and the hybrids, okay? Traditional, non-backed cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, investment tokens, utility tokens. There's a lot to digest in this article here. Some people are saying, it's very interesting that XRP was not mentioned in the entire 77-page report. Okay, that from Jupiter on Twitter. And then XRP Borneo says, no need to be mentioned as it will bridge currencies for them all. And I think that's a good point. I think that somebody down here mentioned, right, it's because the report is about regulatory concerns, so it makes sense that these poop coins are mentioned. So apparently they mention ADA, BTC, GNT, FIL, ETH-, JPM, PAX, USDT, Tether, Libra, and XMR, which is Monero. But no mention of XRP, and could that be because XRP has already solidified its spot in the narrative for the future of payments, and it does not necessarily need to be mentioned again and again over and over. Okay, Ripple has already partnered with many banks around the world, financial institutions, and big companies have the ability to settle in XRP already, namely R3, Earthport come to mind, and of course Ripple's got their deal with MoneyGram as well. I think that narrative was so 2019 when Ripple was still trying to, hype up their services to companies that didn't quite understand it yet. I'm starting to think that 2020 is the year that people get it. We're not going to maybe hear as much on the front of, hey, look at what we can do, guys. I think the governments and banks of the world, financial institutions, they already understand this. And now it's going to be cryptocurrency regulation focused. So interesting article there from the European Parliament. And again, guys, this just from this month, April 2020. So I got to thank Matthew Liny for posting that. Crypto Wolf brings this up. So France's financial regulators respond to European Commission's cryptocurrency consultation. And this article is from Cointelegraph. As the European Commission finished its public consultation on cryptocurrency assets in March, France's major financial regulator stepped in to express its stance on the matter. The Autorité des marchés financiers, you like that French accent? The stock market regulator in France has published an official response to the EC consultation, outlining some basic proposals regarding their own vision for crypto assets within the EC's approach. So still working their way through this. It's too early to establish a classification for crypto assets as of yet, but it's good to know France is still working on this. So thanks so much, XRP Crypto Wolf, for that. XRP, you amaze me, posted this. And so I did a video yesterday with some of the same language in a document from JPM, and now we're seeing Citibank kind of mirroring that sentiment in a statement here from, it looks like their website, a highly advanced payments platform. Although it's a late entrant into the global real-time payments field, the RTP real-time payments platform from the clearinghouse, the TCH, is the first new payment system in the US in 40 years and continues to be one of the most sophisticated systems globally. We heard about new technology, the first in 40 years, from JPM just yesterday, and this one, guys, from Citibank. So this just released, it looks like. From XRP, you amaze me on Twitter, so thanks so much, buddy, for pointing that out. ACOS XRP1 here posts, Citibank is working with R3, and so that could be it as well. The fact of the matter is that I think a lot of this is coordinated, especially since these guys are talking about, the the latest technology, new payment systems in the US in 40 years. This is the first time there has been something new in 40 years. That specific verbiage to me sounds like this was a coordinated statement, and that a lot of these guys are going to be running on Ripple, if not all of them. And if they're not already, I mean, they could be using Ripple, or rather Xcurrent, today, and just not be so vocal about it, because it's nothing really different than what they already have. I mean, it's different, but it's not settling instantly. That's the key. That's what's going to get everybody excited. Regardless of what's happening in the back end, people are going to be like, wow, the money showed up in my account in 2 seconds. That's the interesting piece. So the XRP is really going to be a factor in that. But I wanted to thank XRP. You amazed me for that. And this from XRP Monkey. Now, this thread from a while ago, but I thought it was interesting, especially since now, more than ever, is there a call for crypto adoption. So BlackRock merges with Merrill Lynch in 2006, giving Merrill Lynch a 49% stake in BlackRock. PNC's stake is halved, about 22% plus stake. The Bank of America acquires Merrill Lynch in 2008. Bank of America / Merrill Lynch is directly correlated with Ripple and using their tech in a document that they want patented. So he shows us the highlighted remark here with the merger, and using refunded Ripple settlement tool here is a flowchart to that effect. And guys, I will link this in the description. So that's one of 3. He goes on to say BlackRock CEO talks about finding a way to exchange foreign currencies instantaneously. That's interesting. Trump mentions Larry Fink and BlackRock in his address to the nation and working out how to fix the economy. And then 3 of 3 down here, Pnc Bank was the first U.S. bank on RippleNet. If BOA is using it, its subsidiaries will eventually be on the same track, all connected. Bullish as hell, yeah, I tend to agree. Going back to the point of a coordinated statement, the banks of America, although in competition, will be talking about advancements and will coordinate if they see something that is mutually beneficial for all of them. And I think this will eventually be a big advantage for Ripple, because the technology is far superior than anything we've seen in the last 40 years, as JP Morgan mentioned yesterday, and we're seeing Citibank mention today. So I think it would behoove all of them to get on RippleNet, call it a day, and then continue their rivalry at that point. At least everybody will be settling instantly. And, then it's just a matter of who provides better customer service. If everybody is using RippleNet, everybody can settle instantly, then everybody's kind of back at square one, back at zero, and the playing field has now been leveled for everybody. Not to mention all the smaller banks and financial institutions that want to settle instantly as well. And guys, I saw this tweet from Dr. Julian Hosp, okay, at Julian Hosp on Twitter. Never forget, the people with the best performing Bitcoin portfolios are those that either lost their keys or died. Hodl. I thought that was so funny when I read that. And I had thought this sentiment before. This is so true, it hurts. If you just hodl and you kind of forget about things. Now, I'm not saying to die or to lose your keys, obviously, but those are the people that will not be selling too early, selling too late, missing the boat. If you just had your Bitcoin from 2010 and hodled, you would be a multimillionaire, if not billionaire. And guys, I feel the same for XRP. You should have an exit strategy. You should take profits on the go. That's what I'm going to be doing. It's not financial advice. But, if you're going to wait for 589 only and sell your entire stash at 589, I mean, maybe that's your strategy. I don't know. But you could be waiting for a while. But I wanted to put something into perspective for you guys. I wanted to take Ripple royalty, okay? People working for Ripple, and kind of get a sense of how much XRP they own. Even if we can't get exact numbers, the fact that XRP was created for a purpose means that it should have value, and a lot of value, once Ripple puts their plan in place. So let's just take a look at Brad Garlinghouse here. His personal stash of XRP confirmed in the 9 figures, okay? So you can only imagine how much XRP Brad Garlinghouse has. This article here discussing Chris Larsen, co-founder and former CEO of Ripple, until November 2016, held a little more than 5.1 billion XRP. Okay, I believe those are 2016 numbers. Now, of course, these numbers could fluctuate a little here, a little there. Even the CEOs might be selling some XRP as they go to kind of reap profits. Nobody is going to be holding their entire stash the entire time. And guys, we heard about Jeb McCaleb, right? And he continues to sell XRP, but he still holds about 4.7 billion XRP. In this article from only about 2 months ago, from February 2020. So Jeb McCaleb still 4.7 XRP. So guys, let's just put things into perspective here. We got Brad Garlinghouse has XRP in the 9 figures. So anywhere between 100 million and 999 million XRP, We got Chris Larson here with 5.1 billion XRP as of November 2016. And we got Jeb McCaleb with 4.7 billion XRP, one of the co-founders. So if these guys are holding this much, and you know what, to be honest, the number doesn't really matter that much, but it's a lot of XRP. And these guys are the guys that are looking to make it happen, all right? They're not holding it for the goodness of their health. They're holding it because they realize it will have value down the road. And just again, to put things into perspective, the wallets that hold 1 billion XRP to infinity is only 7. And so where do you stack up in and amongst that, whether you hold 100,000 or 50,000 or 10,000 XRP? We are all down here somewhere, you know, in and amongst these numbers anywhere between, I'm sure there are some people that own 1 million XRP out there that bought sub 1 penny. Nevertheless, not only am I doing my research, not only am I understanding fundamentally what XRP is going to be used for, realizing that government central banks of the world will be using it for settlement, realizing that it's already being used right now in certain circumstances for cross-border payments, even taking all that into consideration, I still like to take some cues from the people in charge. Ripple royalty. The fact that these guys hold so much XRP and, you know, they're not going to work at Ripple forever. What I see here, though, is strategic. Ripple has always maintained that it is in their best interest to give XRP value in the future. And whether you work for Ripple now or have worked for Ripple in the past, part of your incentive to do so is to hold said XRP in order to give yourself a bonus for creating that ecosystem that will thrive globally. Governments, financial institutions, central banks around the world will be using XRP to transfer value. We are at the precipice of something huge, guys. And don't forget, the people with the best performing crypto portfolios are those that either lost their keys or died. To Dr. Julian Hosp's point, if you have the power to hodl for that amount of time that is still unknown, you will likely become a millionaire, if not a multimillionaire, and have a great story to tell your kids one day. Anyway, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.